Hi, friends. Welcome back to part 2 of lesson 3, where we are going to prove now which minerals we had based on our results from the hardness test. You should have your notebook, which looks like so. And if you need to go back and double check your notes, please feel free to do so, or go back to the other video to watch the scratch test being performed. And you'll notice mineral number 1 was yes, yes, no with a 2, total tools that could scratch. Mineral 2 was no, no, no with 0 tools that could scratch it. Yes, yes, yes for number 3. 3 tools could scratch it, and yes, no, no, and 1 tool could scratch it. Now, it's very important that we make some connections here, and that is on our Mohs scale of hardness, okay? First of all, talc is like chalk, okay? And I showed you in that very first clip how easy it was to break apart that chalk. I can't seem to find it at the moment, but chalk was very easy to break. You know, you can rip it apart. You can stick your fingernail in it, okay? So that's a 1 because it's super soft, okay? So all the way up here, we have soft minerals. And as you gradually go down the Mohs chart like so, you eventually get to the absolute hardest mineral, which is a diamond, which again was not included in our kit. We said it was somewhere between 2 and 9, okay? So what about the hardness of our fingernail? Our fingernail actually has a hardness of 2.5. That means that our fingernail would not be able to scratch calcite, fluorite, any of those, but it can scratch gypsum or talc. So this will help us as a major clue because we can look at our chart right here and see where was it that our fingernail was able to scratch. And we see that our fingernail was able to scratch mineral number 3. And there's only one mineral, okay, that is going to have a hardness that is less than 3 and is not talc. So that is gypsum. So that tells us that mineral number 3 was gypsum. And yes, my friends, that is true. Okay, this right here, our mineral is gypsum. Okay, all right, moving on to determining another one. Let's take a look at the penny. The penny has a hardness of a 3.5, which means that a penny can scratch calcite, gypsum, and talc. So let's see here. Okay, on our chart, we already determined that this was gypsum because it was able to be scratched by all 3, and it's the softest. Okay, so where is another one where you can see where it was able to be scratched? Your fingernail could not scratch it. Okay, but the penny could scratch it, and a penny is a 3.5 on Mohs scale. A fingernail is 2.5. What comes right between 2.5 and 3.5? You guessed it, calcite. Okay, so calcite is actually our answer for number 1 over here. Calcite, okay? And let's take a look again at what calcite looks like. Okay, calcite, right here is your sample of calcite. And that, my friends, was mineral number 1. All right, so what are the other 2 mystery minerals? Well, we know they're going to have to be harder than gypsum and calcite, okay, because those other tools were able to scratch them. All right, so let's take a look at, we had no, no, and no here. So that's going to be a really, really hard mineral, okay? So what do you suppose that is? A harder mineral is going to be more toward the bottom of our chart here, okay? So let's think about that for a minute. Knowing our paperclip has a hardness of 6.5, that puts it right between feldspar and quartz. And let me tell you what, friends, if you take a look at that mineral once again, okay, this mineral right here, a lot of you could probably identify that right away without even doing the hardness test. But for the sake of being a true junior geologist and going through the process, okay, we're going to conclude that that mineral, which is number 2, is likely quartz. Okay, quartz. So what about number 4? So let's take a look at this again. Let's take a look at the property of color. Notice that this has green in it. Okay, I want you to think up here. What word might represent a word that has something to do with green? You know what, my friends? Fluorite is kind of like fluoride. And fluoride is what dentists put in, right? Dentists use to clean your teeth. What you use in toothpaste. It's a mineral used in toothpaste. Fluorite, fluoride kind of has that minty green color. So the property of color can help us to determine this. And then if we look at our results of the hardness test, okay, on that last one, yes, no, no, and only one tool could scratch it. Only the paperclip could scratch it. Well, wouldn't that make sense? If a paperclip has a hardness of 6.5, that certainly it would be able to scratch that because the penny is softer and the fingernail is softer. So guess what, friends? Mineral number 4 is in fact fluorite. Now, to end our investigation, all we have to do is list the minerals in order of hardness. Notice it has the hardest at the bottom. So then here we're going to put softest at the top. Okay. And which one was our softest mineral? Our softest mineral is gypsum, which is a number 2 on Mohs scale. Okay. And our next hardest mineral was then calcite. Okay. And then our next hardest mineral would have been fluorite. Fluorite. And lastly, our last and hardest mineral, which is the hardest mineral in the science kit, is quartz. Okay, and so there are the results of the scratch test. All right, I will see you in the next lesson. Have a great day. Bye.